Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. We have the Apple Magic Trackpad. I've been debating on getting one of these things for a few years now because I don't even like trackpads on laptops. So generally I get a laptop and I kind of set it up as a desktop, hook it up to a big screen, play my video games, and I use an external keyboard and mouse. The only time I use a trackpad is if I'm sitting on my lazy boy and checking my email, but then I start to think about it. Wait a minute, why do I have an iPad for then? I can do that on my iPad. I can do it on my iPhone, you know? I can chat, do everything on those things. So, yeah. Anyways, I just run an external keyboard and mouse on my laptop, and besides which, the way I look at it, I'm not using the built-in keyboard and trackpad and those little buttons, except every once in a while to make sure they all function right, because you don't let stuff just sit after all, and because that's when things can go wrong. And it gives me a higher resale value on the machine when I do decide to sell it and get something new. Anyway, so with trackpads, this is an external thingy for desktops, or you could use it on your laptop if you want a bigger one. But anyway, I've been looking for a used one for a while because I'm not paying brand new for something if I'm not going to take to it, or I'm not really going to get much use out of it. And I thought, well, it is something that's been on my tree for a while. I keep thinking, I need a trackpad, I need a trackpad. Why do I need a trackpad? I don't know why I need a trackpad. But I got one now, and I only paid 20 bucks, so I guess I can't complain too much. Or could I? Well, here's the thing. The ad did say he wanted 50 bucks and everything worked fine. But he lied, because one of the feet were missing. Now, if you know anything about these or the keyboards, those are a nightmare to remove. It's going to be a real chore getting the new ones to install too. But this is the one original that was left over, that was still in there. So these have to be forcibly removed. But we bargained. He wanted 30 and I said, nope, it's older generation, I'll give you 20 bucks for it. And so I didn't notice until after I got in the car. I was gone, he was gone. And then I'm like, wait a minute, it's missing a footy. And those footies control your clickers on either side. And if you don't have them, you ain't clicking nothing, baby. Okay, so yeah, those little feety have to be there. Those black ones, however, I did buy a internet router at Value Village, and those feet didn't work out. They were the right diameter. Now that is not self-adhesive, by the way, for the Apple ones. They actually fit in there. It's really weird. But the ones that are on here now are adhesive. That's all I can do for now. But those little feeties didn't work out because they were too short. Right diameter, right shape, but too short. So I scored a set off of a hard drive case I had here, and they're tall enough that they work perfectly fine, so I have no issues. Everything's now actually working perfectly, okay? But yeah, 20 bucks. I mean, I looked on eBay and these things are going fully intact with everything and in great shape for $18 and up. So, you know, I'm thinking, well, you know, I'm going to have about 40 bucks tied up in this by the time I get replacement feety. Because just to get two of those little round feet off Amazon is like 15 bucks. And almost another $6 in import and duty fees. Okay, hence I live in Canada. What do you want? So I'm going to call Apple Canada on Monday, see if they have any in stock, and see what their blood money price is compared to Amazon. And if they do have them in stock, well, then I'll just get them from Apple and save myself some money, hopefully. We'll see, but it is Apple after all, so you never know. This one runs on batteries. And I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a try, and if I really do take to it, and I do like it for what I'm going to be able to use it for, then I'll perhaps buy a brand new rechargeable version of the Magic Trackpad 2. Because it is actually a little bit wider, and it's a little shallower, because it's not running AA's, right? It's running rechargeable. But, you know, it is going to be more modern, and in black is the color I want to order. And eventually I will also be ordering the black keyboard and mouse, and I will explain that in my next video when we talk about the Magic Keyboard one, which will be our next review that we talk about. And that was a good score on that keyboard. But anyways, in the meantime, I am getting use out of this thing, you know, getting around and using this. It's kind of really, I'm kind of liking it. I'm not moving a mouse all over the place when I run out of space, because I got a huge screen, eh? I got a 32-inch screen, so I got a lot of real estate to cover, especially in the 2K resolution. Never mind 4K, even more, you know, space, right? So it's like, oh, this is kind of handy. I can just do this and do this. The gestures and stuff for scrolling up and down, left and right swiping, all that, it's all there. Right click, you know, that's there, you know, in your regular left click, you can go in the corner, or even anywhere within this area, you can get a left click out of it and do your regular launching of stuff, opening, closing folders, that sort of thing. Works really well. Playing games, though, is not going to happen. Oh, there goes my rechargeable light. Sorry about that, guys. Our video quality just took a little bit of a dump because the light went out. Anyhow, so with this, you know, it's working great, and I'm really enjoying surfing with this thing. Like, even if I go up, even playing around on the Apple website or YouTube, wherever, I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. I'm kind of liking this. I can open up a window. Oh, I want to kind of, you know, maybe use a side swipe and go back to another screen. I can do that too, and boom, I'm right back to where I started. That's kind of nice, and you know, it's beginning to grow on me a little, we'll say, right? So, yeah, I'm thinking I might just save up some money and buy the rechargeable one. And I'll move this over to my 2009 iMac. When it comes to the Apple Bluetooth keyboards, mice, and trackpads, just so that you're aware, they are not compatible with PCs, okay? I've been trying that stunt off and on for years, because for a long time I did have Apple keyboards, Apple mice, and you know, I never had the trackpad until now. But I tried the trackpad on my brand new gamer system to see if it would be found on Bluetooth, and it cannot be found. Just as keyboards and mice, I've never had them be found on PCs over the years, off and on. So yeah, that kind of tells you that whether it's the Magic Keyboard and Mouse version 1 or 2, yep, they don't work with PCs. So Bluetooth is not Bluetooth when it comes to that. But certainly you can use even the newest model rechargeable stuff even on your old Macs. So if your old Mac was able to connect to one of these, it will connect to the rechargeable stuff. So no big deal. Anyways, and I've done that before, so I know it works. So I've got this currently hooked into my M1 Mac Mini. It's working perfectly fine, hassle-free. We're good to rock and roll. Even though I've only had this thing since yesterday, I've been playing around quite a bit with it, so here's my take on it. I will give this a 4.5 out of 5 without even batting an eyelid, okay? Now, when it comes to the price, though, $18 to maybe $30 on the top side is where you want to be at, provided it's got all the original FIDI all intact and all properly working, especially with the clickers for these two, because these are your clicker controls, okay? So as long as all that's there, $18 to $30 is about where you want to be at. If you want to talk about the Magic Mouse 1, which I don't have one right now, I sold my last one. Stupid. Should have kept it, but didn't know I was getting a 2009 iMac either. Anyway, those things sell for about $35 at pawn shops. And you can get them around $30, $35, even $40 on Marketplace if you look hard enough. Most of the Mac freaks out there are just total lost it somewhere in the cyber world. They think their stuff is still worth retail, and you're not going to pay retail, okay? I mean, 80 bucks, you know, 50 bucks, totally unreasonable for this stuff as used, okay? It's just not worth that kind of money, right? Even the Magic Keyboard I have, the original one, I paid like 15 bucks for it at Value Village. Nothing wrong with it. Works perfect, in great shape, and it also runs batteries too. Pawn shops, I mean, it's going to kind of vary on prices with pawn shops, but I've seen the Magic Mouse version 1 at a local pawn shop for $35. I would pay $30 to $35 for that. No problem. I would pay probably 35 to 45 for the rechargeable version if it was a very recently new one. Okay, it's gonna kind of vary. Like, I don't know what kind of overall lifespan we're gonna see out of years of use on the rechargeable versions of these keyboards, mice, and trackpads, because they're rechargeable. You know, it's gonna be kind of a hard thing. But on any of the ones that run batteries, it's just like, take out the batteries, pop in new batteries, and you're good to go again. You know, your downtime is like about as much time as it takes to change a battery. The rechargeable ones, the batteries should last for a few years easily enough, though. Depends on how much typing you do, how often you recharge it, same as how much mousing you do, how often you recharge it, and how much trackpadding in this case you do, how often you would recharge the rechargeable stuff. And the battery operated stuff is really not any real different. The batteries will last quite a lot of time before you have to replace your batteries. I put the batteries in this yesterday. It's not been turned off, but it does, like any other Apple device, it will go into a sleep mode. When it comes to you know, all that, I mean, it does track the percentage. It says I'm still at 100% power in my trackpad. I do have a rechargeable keyboard and mouse that every couple of months I have to recharge them. You know, and I do a lot of typing and a lot of mousing every single day on my Mac. So, you know, that's a given, right? And they last a long time. Mind you, I'm using Logitech keyboard and mouse, but either way, an Apple keyboard and mouse would probably be the same thing. Every couple of months I recharge them. But I keep an eye, once a week I check my Bluetooth, and I go and I open Bluetooth, and it shows all my devices that are connected, tells me the charge state, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we're good for a while yet. I was down to, I think, like 20% on my mouse the other day, and I can't remember what I was on my keyboard, but I thought, you know what, I'm recharging the mouse, just top up the keyboard anyway. But I don't do it that often. So this, I'm not expecting to replace batteries very often either. But I would definitely say if you can use a trackpad, if you want to use a trackpad on your desktop system, then I would say go buy one, because they actually are quite usable, turns out. And you know, if you have to sign online contracts, you can't do that with a mouse, with a signature, if it wants physical signature, you know. But with a trackpad, you can just go la 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 la, done, done. And so a trackpad is good for that. And you know, even if you're doing some sketching and stuff, it's a lot easier to do that sketching with a trackpad than it's going to be with a mouse. So that's another thing. So I think I'm going to download Google Sketch again and play around with that program. Not that I'm a very good artist, but, you know, hey, I can have some fun when I'm bored, you know. Trackpads, though, are useless when it comes to playing video games, so just keep that in mind. But otherwise, yeah, that's about where we're at. So top dollar, don't pay more than $30 for one of these older gens. And just a little bit extra fine for the rechargeables when you're buying used. Brand new price, they can be expensive for the rechargeables, but you won't find these brand new anymore unless somebody somehow has one that's still brand new in the sealed box because they never opened it for some reason. But even at that, it's still not worth more than $30. I don't care. It's older gen tech, you know. So, but anyways, that's what I've got. 4.5 out of 5. I probably should have given him $10 had I noticed the foot, but he was in a rush, I was in a rush. I didn't think about it. His lad said it was fine, but turned out he lied. But that's okay, at least we got it up and running, so we'll count that as life happens. And when I can, I'll get the original feeties reinstalled when I can get a new set in, and then she'll be back up 100%. So, yeah. So stay tuned for the next one, because we're going to talk about the Magic Keyboard next. There's a bit to be said about that one, so be patient with that video. I have some very good and useful information on that one for you as well to think about. But in the meantime, if you are looking for one of these, like I said, eBay has them right now for $18 and up. Try and go as cheap as you can. Make sure it's functional though. So very carefully read those eBay ads and look at as many pictures as you can. And if they don't have a picture of the bottom side, request a picture, because you want to make sure those feet are there, okay? Because these are your clickers. you know. And the other 2 rubber feet should be there anyways, but they don't do anything other than, you know, traction control. But yeah, you should have those there as well too for that price. They should all be intact for, you know, 20-30 bucks, you know. But only pay more if you really want to, but I wouldn't. So there you go. Anyways, that's it. That's all. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.